Hey folks, it's us, podcasting wonderkins John Bishop and Lucas Southworth.
Although this is a podcast about cars, it is not age appropriate for the target demographic of these films, as we usually end up talking about the reproductive organs of Lightning McQueen.
Alright, now let's take a look under the hood.
Hello and welcome to the Chat, the only podcast brave enough to ask the question, hey, why isn't this as good as the movies?
And
I'm John Bishop.
And I'm Lucas Southworth.
I was waiting for you to correct it before I said my name for some reason, but that's not how that works. I say my name and then you correct it.
And then I correct you. But John, I can't stay mad because today we're talking about one of my favorite movies. You know this about me. It's not a great movie, but that's why I love it. Jerry Seinfeld's masterpiece, B-movie.
Do you like jazz?
Oh, it's classic. Why would a bee say that? He's trying to seduce the woman, the human woman, and then he sues humanity for the honey. It's great.
Now here's one issue I already have. You said trying to.
No, spoiler alert for B-movie.
He's seducing that woman.
Yeah, well, I would argue he doesn't successfully seduce the woman. He does successfully become her very close friend. You can read into it, but nothing is explicit. But he does successfully sue humanity for all of the honey, which makes a certain amount of sense when it's revealed that bees are sentient. I guess.
But makes a lot less sense when you consider the fact that we don't treat humans that well. Why would we treat bees that well?
That's true.
Yes, I know this belongs to you, but no, you can't have it.
Yeah, that is a common tactic amongst humans.
We've had it for an amount of time, so it is ours.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, that's something just like the government and stuff does. Our government to, the native peoples of these lands. So, yeah, that is how they'd probably treat bees.
And I've done it. I've exposed the only flaw in B-movie.
Yeah, you have. It's the only one. But folks, we got a whole thing planned for you. I found the B-movie wiki and everything. We're going to look at Barry B. Benson's page, his friend's page, the ladies' page. The guy, is he voiced by Patrick Warburton, or does he just sound a little bit like Patrick Warburton?
That's Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, for sure. It's that we're gonna do a whole thing. I think Chris Rock is a mosquito in it.
He's a bug, but also like half a bug, because he's definitely on his way out.
No, he comes back at the end and makes a joke about lawyers. So he doesn't die.
Is he undead?
Now that's something we can get into. John, I was hoping you would sort of complete the other end of this bit.
Lucas, we're so close.
No, I know. I don't want to talk about the actual thing we're supposed to talk about this week either. And honestly...
No, Lucas, we're so close.
Oh,
Let's
you
keep
doing
going
it?
For a few seconds.
Gotcha. But yeah, we may even play a little bit of the cover of Here Comes the Sun.
No, we got to keep what we were just talking about.
Undead. Okay, yeah.
Maybe he's undead. Maybe he's some sort of zombie. And what goes well with zombies? Aliens.
Apparently.
If only this whole movie focused on this one character, because that sounds like a fun movie, doesn't it? A movie centered completely around zombie aliens?
Only if it's a musical, is what I would say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be a train wreck.
Yeah, clearly. But yeah, the bit is, no, we're not talking about the B movie, although, John, once we finish Cars on the Road, I don't know. I wouldn't be against just doing one of our it's our podcast kind of episodes where we talked about the B movie for an episode.
I mean, here's the thing: we could just riff on the whole. Oh, we're gonna go further into possible prequels, and we're gonna confirm or deny for the sake of good old Matt Pat.
That's fair. And I mean, the bee does get inside a car at some point, and the bee
Hmm.
is sentient.
That's not the only thing he gets inside of.
It is, unfortunately. I don't know about unfortunately. I regret my choice of words.
No,
Because,
you said it. You can't take it back, and we all agree with you.
okay, it would. You know what? I'll say it. It would be a better movie if Barry B. Benson had sex with Vanessa the Human Woman. Okay? It
Yep.
would. And that's my stance. But we can't do it anymore. We are talking about instead the episode of Cars on the Road titled B Movie, which is much less exciting to me.
Hmm. And why is it called B movie?
Because that's like a term for movies that are like, a B tier movie, kind of like it's not an A list kind of thing. It's just kind of a rung down worse movie, and that's what we stumble in upon, a bad movie being made. And that's what they decided to do this episode of Cars on the Road on, after doing, it's the same complaint I have about the circus one, is we already gave us the fantastical ones.
Hmm.
Why are you now ramping down to what would a movie being made look like in the Cars verse?
And the answer is uh bad, but in like kind of the ways that it's bad in our world, where it's just like, yeah, no one knows what they're doing. Everyone's just kind of winging it, and just management is terrible.
Also, it'll look like just like, yeah, that's how movies are made, I guess. Just nothing particularly exciting or revealing about the Cars verse.
Too true.
Too true. But yes, let's do a quick recap of the episode. John, you want to handle it?
All right, let's do this. So, uh, open up on Mater and Lightning, just driving, just being buds. And then they stumble upon a movie that's filming, and one creature that seems to be an actual alien slash insectoid creature, maybe even uh, man, I know what they're called, arachnid creature.
Yeah.
But they find out it's a movie. Someone sees that he's famous, so what do? They put him in the movie, and then turns out being famous for racing doesn't make you a good actor. Is that a commentary on how actors are more and more just celebrities rather than professional people who act? Maybe.
I'll
Hopefully.
I would argue it could be a direct commentary on half of the voice cast of these very movies, who are in fact professional race car drivers. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then turns out he's bad. And Mater, pretty good, I guess.
I
And
guess.
then they're both in a movie for a little bit, and the movie keeps changing, and everything keeps changing about the movie. And then Lightning has to discover that it's not cool that he expects himself to be much better at everything than everyone. He learns that lesson just in time for it to not be worth anything, because he and Mater are kicked out of the film, seemingly for no reason. And oh, look, it's that character we met a little bit ago, who is a monster truck, but for some reason wasn't in the truck episode.
Yeah.
That could have been fun.
Yeah.
But no, she's back, and she is now in a musical that is somehow the remnants of the movie they were supposed to be in.
Yeah. Sums it up. Uh I also don't know why Ivy shows up at the last minute. Who can say? But I don't know. This one's kind of bad. it
This one felt like they tried to make just a movie,
Yeah.
and they were given 9 minutes.
Yeah. Like I'll give it this. Like I feel like a lot of my complaints with the circus one are, it feels like it has no arc. It's just They show up at the circus and Lightning is scared. There is a 4-minute circus performance scene, and then they leave, but Ivy stays.
Hmm.
This one at least tries to do something, tries to have a little story. I don't think it's the most successful one, but I'll give it that bit of credit at least.
Yeah, this one, it seriously, it feels like they tried to make something that was just supposed to be much longer, and they didn't have enough time. It's got that weird TikTok like thing, or that I would say more Vine thing, where it's, oh yeah, you just don't have enough time to do the type of content you'd be used to making. So a lot of people are going to fail to do much because, like, oh, you're it's supposed to be wild and crazy for 6 seconds. That's it. And they were like, yeah, but I want to tell a story. And then the people are like, I mean, sure, but you've got 6 seconds. And they were like, we can make it work. So they wrote a 30-minute script and then I guess compressed it.
I guess because there's just a very telling moment to me, or a very telling lack of a moment, I would say, even where the tension rises sort of between Lightning and Mater a little bit. And they have just the slightest of confrontations in the hotel, where Mater, to his credit, has like a nice little character moment where Mater is a bit upset with his friend, which we don't get to see a lot of, like negative emotions from Mater, and says like, Lightning, I don't understand why you think you would be good at this. You can't be good at everything, and it's okay for other people and specifically me to be good at things that you aren't, and it hurts my feelings that you assume that I wouldn't be good at it. And then it immediately cuts to the next morning, and Lightning says, hey, I'm sorry I was a jerk, as
Yeah.
opposed to him more abjectly learning that, or like going and reflecting on it. And he's just like, oh no, that's, yeah, it worked, we're good,
And
we're
if you're
done with that.
curious, the amount of time this scene took to get to that point was much less than it took to explain that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was just the line of, you got to leave some of it for the rest of us, and then maybe another line or two, and that was it.
Yeah, it's a little wild, but we can talk more about our general thoughts, I guess, at the end. But I feel like we're giving a pretty good preview for our general thoughts. John, I do want to talk about.
Would I watch the movie? Of course I would. It
Yeah,
sounds like it would be a disaster.
yeah. I mean, one, taking cars out of it completely. If I heard that there was just a zombie alien movie that they kept trying to make. They tried to throw in a celebrity cameo in it. They scrapped all of it and then at the last minute changed it to a musical with like some unknown in the starring role. Yeah, I would absolutely go and pay to watch that because I
A
like
alien
bad movies.
zombie musical with so much practical effects.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool to
It
me.
covers all of our bases.
Not to mention another base being potentially very bad movies, which I am very into. I feel like you less than me, but maybe some.
See, I am firmly of the camp a movie has to know what it is, and it can be bad and know it's supposed to be bad, but like it can't be just bad. Like Sharknado is a bad movie. It knows it's a bad movie and it relishes in it, and that's fantastic.
See, I would argue the opposite. I appreciate the Sharknadoes in the world, but you get true magic, in my opinion, when they have no idea it's going to be bad. When they, and this is going to sound mean, tried their absolute hardest, and what came out of it is nonsensical.
See, I know I'm not in the popular camp here because I know that people love The Room, and
Mm.
I don't. I've seen it and I don't ever want to watch it again. And my argument was some movies people claim are so bad they're good. I think The Room is so bad that it's just bad.
Yeah, there's a very, very fine line in so bad they're good movies
Hmm.
because the movie can't be bad because it's boring. That will never be a so bad it's good movie. But like, let's see, I'm trying to like Maximum Overdrive. That one knew what it was a little bit, but was still trying to do something. Like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't trying to be a huge movie, but it was still bad, and that was fun. And I bought a vampire motorcycle or vampires. Vampires, I think, is the example I want to go with actually, because I bought a vampire motorcycle. Also, sort of knew what it was. Vampires was very genuinely trying to be like the next Power Rangers or something, and it was not.
And
And
Van Helsing was, they really wanted him to be something.
gosh, they really did.
They were relying on a trust that they had not gotten yet.
They did not, that Van Helsing shouldn't have heard. And like that is very fun to me. Of like, why did they think this would work? Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Batman and Robin is one of my all-time favorites, uh, because it's so huge. It's a Batman movie, but it just has Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mister Freeze making constant ice puns. Incredible. If you watch, we're on a tangent, but this episode didn't give us a lot. Uh, if you watch Batman and Robin and treat it as like a Lego Batman style, almost Batman parody, it's so much better.
See, for me, I think that that is specifically my kind of bad movie.
Sure.
A kind of bad movie that, like, it is what it's like, it is what it is. It's not trying to be the Dark Knight and failing. It's just so campy and like
Yes.
so cartoonish and like simplistic kind of dumb, and I love it.
No, yeah, I've sort of lost the plot a little bit, and I'm talking about just bad movies I like. Uh,
It's so easy to do and so hard not to do.
yeah, there's a reason there are a million bad movie podcasts. I would argue we are very close to being a bad movie podcast.
Well, the difference is we're a bad franchise podcast,
Yes.
which is different because we don't talk about other movies except for occasionally, and when we do, usually those are good movies.
Usually it's because A, we just want to talk about them because we like them or because they're very silly, and we just slap a thin reason to relate them to cars on there.
And once or twice, we didn't even do that.
Yeah, we just wanted to do it. Like, that's another one. The Netflix Christmas movies. Uh, Again, this is not proving anything against your point. Those absolutely know what they are. Uh, but man, if you just watch them and look to just pick them apart, they're very fun. But
Yeah.
this is not that. This is in the boring category instead of the funny bad category.
And honestly, I would say that this isn't bad. It's just not what they wanted it to be when they set out to make it, I don't think. Because they clearly wanted, like, it's a high quality, like, crisp, tight story. It achieves all of the story beats. It's just super rushed and really cramped because of it.
Yeah, like I could see if the yeah, like half an hour on this or 23 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
classic TV episode, they could have made this work.
Mm-hmm.
It still wouldn't have been like fantastic in my view, but the story would have worked at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I I just took some notes like I do of things I saw in the episode. You know how the concept of these types of episodes, John? I
Mm-hmm.
did that.
You did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to
Uh,
read some?
I want you to read the third one.
Okay. Spider car.
Man, I'm so glad I picked that one at random. Yeah, there is a car that walks around on spider legs, and it opens up its face, and it's, oh, look, it's a regular car. It just has a costume on, except we never see wheels.
Yeah.
And it's like the stilt thing, where there was one that was on stilts, except the one on stilts seemed to still have like wheels and tires. This
Yeah.
one, you can't see those. And the thing that's really troubling to me is that there are six. So, like, the wheels are covered by four, and the middle two seem to still move independently.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like he has a remote control in there and is controlling an external suit that he is just riding in. I don't know if it's they have just attached these robotic legs to his already, mechanical chassis, and they've hooked into him,
Mm-hmm.
and like he can just control them with his mind the way he controls his body with his mind. I I don't know what's up with that guy.
Yeah, it seems that there is just a spider vehicle creature thing. And one reason I want to say that is because this is while they're not filming, he's just moving. Like, if you've seen the Doc Ock singing video, which is phenomenal and would recommend, uh, there are like eight guys helping him do that. And it's because they're filming. If he's not being filmed and he doesn't have the puppeteers helping him move, he just can't, because that's how those sort of things work.
Yeah.
But this guy is just like getting a drink, and it's just him in the suit, and he's just moving all six of the legs casually, which leads me to believe that this is just a creature with either six legs or six wheels, and two of them are in the middle, as I've never seen in a vehicle.
Yeah, and I would argue even if this is not a creature that was born this way, if this was just a even if this is a car riding in a machine, like it's really that distinction doesn't really matter to me cuz like we already suppose that this is a world of creatures that ride in car bodies. So like the difference between that and a car, a creature riding in a car body riding in a spider body is not that much to me.
At that point, it's, want to say a hat on a hat, but I don't think that even applies. It's just a person in a different person.
Yeah, so like even if this is not just a creature that exists out in the world naturally, like now it exists.
Yep.
Like it is a thing. Like he is not you're absolutely right that from what we can see, he is not being assisted by anyone. He seems to be controlling the suit. It is a creature now. It doesn't matter if it's a naturally occurring creature because it is a creature that is possible and perhaps even just a person with, mechanical augmentation.
Mm-hmm. Or far stranger, a person with some sort of biological extra appendages that they just casually have, that they have maybe costumed or maybe even not.
Yeah, this could just be what this person looks like all the time.
Yep.
We live in a world, well, we don't. They live in a world of mechanical beings. Who's to
Mm-hmm.
say this isn't a thing that just exists?
And
Which
the whole thing is they're modes of transportation, and that would be a mode of transportation. And Lucas, I'm going to tell you this right now. We do have vehicles that walk in that way.
yeah.
They're like a weird robot racing league thing that should be more exciting to me than it is, but like, yeah, there are just weird combat robots that are just weird walker things. And that's a thing we have. So I don't know if that's just, oh, there's one of those, except they look much cooler.
Yeah, and I don't really know where it fits in with the plot of the movie. Like, are they just a different type of alien zombie?
Again, this movie is clearly just all over the place.
Yeah, they just threw a bunch of spaghetti on the wall and saw what stuck.
Yeah, there's gelatinous brains everywhere, a weird gelatinous spit from cocoons. Cocoons seem to be a major theme.
Yeah.
Also, there are zombies. I guess the alien zombie brain thing is all just one thing. And then there's spider monsters, and then it's a musical, and there are like weird brain mushrooms growing in the musical.
I guess. I guess. But on
Who
the
knows?
subject of the spider car, there is one other vehicle I noticed right at the top. The first thing we see of the movie set, I believe, is they seem to be unloading a UFO from
Mm-hmm.
something. And I looked, it does have eyes, but we don't see those eyes move or anything on it.
Yes,
So
that was spooky to me.
I couldn't tell if it was a prop or a person.
Yeah, I would hazard to say it's like an ET of like that's a puppet.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna get to, but I did want to explore the possibility that a they almost certainly don't have UFO hover technology, but b if they wanted to like have a character that talks and didn't use a puppet, would they have just shoved a squishy bit into this shell
I
that
think it's far worse than that.
okay,
I think they took a car or something and they just changed its shell.
oh, changed it around the squishy bit instead of transferring
Yeah.
the squishy bit.
Like I think there's some sort of permanence to the squishy bit connection with the car at some point.
Yeah,
And
I
I
agree.
think that this is just an actor who is really dedicated, and it's like the Grinch thing. They have to go through CIA training, torture training, to resist going insane while they have their body modified and they can't move of their own volition anymore, but they're going to be a star.
It's like who's that actor who is always, always, always in heavy prosthesis? Uh,
You
Doug
know,
Doug
Doug
Jones, I
Jones.
want to say.
Yep, it's Doug
Ye-
Jones. I was going to say I had the name, and then like you made me think about it, and then I had no name.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thing. I think you're right. It's more likely a just a prop or b a puppet of some sort. But I think it's possible that it's
A
someone
Doug Jones.
someone going through it for
You
art.
know what? I'm not even going to say a Doug Jones. I think
That's
that's
Doug.
this world's Doug Jones.
Can I think of a car name, a car pun for him? Doug and Jones are tough. Two syllables is not a lot to work with.
Oh boy.
Bones? No, that's not cars.
Dig?
I guess.
Drag?
But
Drag Jones.
Drag Jones. Got it. Man, that's why we pay you the big bucks, John.
Woo. Yeah.
But we did mention the squishy bit, and we've been ragging on this episode a lot, but I do want to give it a shout out for the most solid squishy bit evidence I think we've ever gotten.
There's so many squishy bits. And just the like whole cocoon theme that was super heavy for some reason. It makes you think, what if these cars? What if?
Yeah, but at the very, very, very least, it's clear they know what brains is.
They know what brains is. They know they're squishy. And they know that they can tear someone open and find out what they had for dinner or lunch.
Yeah. So I don't know how much lore this implies beyond that, but that's not nothing. Because, like, we always assume squishy bit theory, mostly because the tongue,
Mm-hmm.
but solid evidence in its camp is nice.
Yep. And one thing we gotta talk about, what is a trait that these alien zombies had that we have fixated on before?
They have separated teeth.
Yep. So we know like two characters with separate teeth. And that is, of course, God King Mater and Miss Fritter. So, why is it that when we see these extraterrestrial undead creatures, they also just inherently have this trait? Is that because there is some part of these cars that are making this film that know that there's something mystical about having separate teeth?
Yeah, I feel like even in the Lights Out episode, I would think is the name of it, where they stay at the haunted mansion. I think we said specifically it was a trait of the undead,
Yes,
or
of these
warlocks or
strange
something.
god creatures because of the weird, what's his name? The something demon?
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying. I can't something ghoul. He's a
Ah, yeah.
ghoul.
Well, there's reason to believe that there is some sort of either undead or divine attribute associated with segmented teeth. And the fact that these zombies have separate teeth, it it's just hinting that there is a connection, and somehow in the subconscious, these people know it. Maybe
Yeah,
that's even why they were so fixated on getting Mater bigger and bigger roles. The more he spoke, the more they like associated him and his teeth with this strange concept of a movie.
yeah. I th- it's rare that we have such good solid evidence backing up one of our weirder claims like this. So yeah, I'll take it. Also, he wasn't a ghoul; he was a wraith. Wraithrod is his name.
Ah, yes, the Wraith Rot.
Good name, actually, really solid name.
See, the beauty of it is that you named him a ghoul, which is something. It's basically people who eat people. They're like cannibals.
Yeah.
Uh, and a wraith is something that feeds off of either the life force, the energy, or even the flesh of something, but isn't that thing. So you were right in one way. You just made him too human. Is that like that's weird to you, right? Like when I found out that ghouls were just basically cannibals, that wigged me out because I thought ghouls were just a type of ghost.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I feel like there's an implication of like more literal loss of humanity
Hmm.
with ghouls, like not just, loss of morality by eating people, like something literally spiritually damages your soul when you become a ghoul and eat people.
Yeah, I'm almost certainly wrong about which creature it is, but I think it's a Wendigo, where you eat people and then you become this creature. Like your body changes to match your monstrous nature.
That's cool. I like that concept.
It's almost certainly the wrong term because I can't think of if that's right or if it's something else. But hey, comment, email us, correct me, please.
I know there was a Wendigo in Supernatural. I remember it was a good episode back
Did it
when
eat people?
probably a lot
I
of
mean,
stuff in
everything
Supernatural
in
did.
Supernatural ate people.
Yeah,
We're just so tasty.
I bet we are. Not to each other, which is good, except if you're a Wendigo or a ghoul.
Mm.
I brought it back. Uh, I wanted to call out the CGI joke.
Yeah,
Uh,
they were being self-referential in a way that felt like they didn't know their own joke yet.
yeah, like,
There wasn't a punchline. It was just, "Hey, we're computer generated images. That's fun."
see, I think there was a punchline. It just came at the beginning of the joke. The punchline is Lightning calls it fakey CGI stuff and says practical is better. Like, if we invert that and like that's what hits, then it's Pixar being self-deprecating. But then with that at the beginning, and if the punchline, I guess, just being Lightning's a little arrogant son of a gun who doesn't know what he's talking about, it doesn't work very well.
Maybe that was a subtle hint that he's just assuming that he's good at everything.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the people at Pixar calling people who say CGI is bad pretentious, which, sure, why not?
And I love me some practical effects, but like, hey, CGI is getting better and better every day.
And like there's some artistry there, not some, just direct. There is artistry involved. Okay, going through my notes, I want to talk about the guy who's typing on his laptop. And I know that this one's going to end the same way they all do with, man, yeah, that shouldn't work. He doesn't even have hands. But this one seems worse than a lot of them, even.
Mm-hmm.
Keys are very tiny, and forklift forks are big. or is the
Well,
issue I'm seeing.
here's the thing. Uh, Trackpads. You know how you can text by like swiping your finger?
Yeah,
What if he's just doing that?
I guess.
Because
Seems
like
hard.
as long as he gets an approximate location, he's probably fine in that case. Like predictive text out the wazoo, but I can imagine that would almost work. Either that or it's a hyper simplified, advanced binary form of uh, like a stenographer pad,
Yeah,
where
I was
it's, oh,
gonna.
there are just sounds and you only have 7 buttons to press at most.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up stenographer pads or the guy we went to high school with who was blind. I
Kramer?
won't. Yeah, uh, I wasn't gonna say his name on the podcast.
That's fair.
But yes, Kramer uh, had a specialized keyboard that I think just had, let's see, one, two, three, four,
Braille?
9 keys on it. I want to say,
Oh,
and different combinations of them would type all the different letters on it in Braille, which was always super cool.
was it a stenographer setup?
It could be. It definitely like typed in Braille up there, so it was
Mm-hmm.
modified specifically for that. But it may be the same, setup stenographers use.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, that's a perfectly good explanation for me, I guess. Although, wait, no, actually, it's horrible
Nope, they're not getting away with it. No.
because those depend on you having 10 fingers and having lots of different combinations of buttons you can press.
What I'm saying is just big buttons,
Very big buttons, sure, but
real big buttons, or again a trackpad.
and to their limited credit, the laptop is the width of a forklift. It's not a human sized laptop, but no, the stenographer explanation doesn't work.
Unless they just have to press like a button that says, "Hey, type what I'm thinking."
That's probably it. That's my explanation. Great.
Boy, howdy, man! They wanted to make another joke about that, and it was, "Ah, writers, am I right?" But like, also, yeah, this guy's just making up some real quick, fast and loose jokes and replacing this guy's job. Like, Mater's gonna get a writing credit if he gets these lines in.
Yeah, there's a difference between like improving lines on set, which is more frowned upon than I think people realize.
Yeah, every
Uh,
time I see like, oh, he just improvised it, I'm like, yeah, because he's extremely famous and he's allowed to do that. But if your average person thinks that's okay, they can get in a lot of trouble.
yeah, and like even if the people who do that, I don't think say, "Oh, wouldn't it be better that instead of saying the line that was written for me if I said this?" Like they
Aren't I
don't.
funnier than writers?
Yeah, like and it's to show. I mean, Mater is a person who's never worked on a thing in his life, and so is Lightning. Uh, but still, that's not really how that works. I don't think. I don't think.
Yeah, and if it is, you gotta be more tactful, man.
Keeping running down the line, John. Oh, because this episode is, I'll say it, a little boring and not implying a lot about the cars first. I did a lot of pausing and looking in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And John, there was not one but two different no parking signs in the background of this short.
Okay.
And I feel like
That's the
some
city.
material.
That's the big city, baby.
How do you can't they
No
are
loitering.
yeah, yeah, I guess. I
Hey,
guess.
don't be standing around here. This is a dangerous area. And definitely no napping.
Yeah, okay. I guess that is what it would be, but it's worse cuz it's cars.
Lucas, what is parking?
Usually well, you don't have to get out of the car when you park. You don't have to. You can park and sit there. You don't I guess.
Yeah, but for the most part,
It's usually when you
you
leave the
park
car.
you park to leave the car.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that's true for this world in any sense.
Yeah,
At best, they're leaving the car when they're going to Dreamland.
I guess. I mean, I guess it could be also like a no stopping sign, like in some like busy parts of like airports and stuff, you see no stopping.
Hmm.
Like you need to get through or step to the side. It could be something like that, but I don't know, man.
Similar to like a speed minimum.
Yes,
Hey,
very.
don't stop. Don't go too slow because we need to keep traffic moving here.
Yes. I'm just gonna run through a few other things I noticed in the background.
Hmm.
On the movie theater marquee that we see at the beginning of the short, they are showing Radiators of the Lost Spark, which one of my new favorite car puns. Genuinely, really like that one. Uh, I don't know why they're called radiators.
Because they're raiders.
No, I get that part. I don't get. I get the pun part of it. I don't get. That would be if it was like livers of the lost ark, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it implies anything. It's just a pretty good car pun. Uh, oh, the
It'd be
presidential.
like
Go ahead.
livers of the lost heartbeat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Maybe it's
would be.
hearts of the lost heartbeat.
Ah, that's deep. I guess. I guess.
It's not because you don't need the spark for that. The spark plugs are for the engine.
Yeah. Okay. I did want to talk a little bit about the presidential seal that we see.
The magnetic sticker,
Yes, the magnetic sticker.
which I am counting as his costume.
Yes, I do want to talk about the concept of them saying, go drop off your costumes, but
Hmm.
after we talk about the presidential seal a little bit.
Yep.
Uh, First off, let me look at a picture of the presidential seal just to check something before we get into it. Huh. Okay. I assumed a joke that they weren't making. Okay. The seal says around it, Mater Seal of the President of the United States. And
Hmm.
I assumed that usually it says like Master Seal on it.
Mm.
They're making a dumb joke. But no, I'm looking at pictures of the presidential seal here and it just says Seal of the President of the United States. So I don't know why they added Mater to it.
Good point. Perhaps because they know he's the God King.
Yeah, maybe it's more of like a theocratic monarchy in that uh like in England the king is the king because they are approved by God
Mm.
uh in
And
their
since
eyes.
he is, he
Yes.
is.
Yes. So we'll go with that. The second thing is, well, the third thing is instead of an eagle, it's a bolt and a bunch of wrenches with wings. So that's kind of weird.
But we know that animals exist
Yeah,
because bear.
because bear. So I guess they're just trying to get away from that. But the big thing I wanted to talk about is on the presidential seal, it says, our presidential seal says e pluribus unum.
Hmm.
I used to know what that meant. Couldn't tell you right now. But
Wait.
the
Uh, as many one.
yes, thank you. But the one in this says C furry bus unum. Four separate words. CSEE furry FURRY bus spelled and then unum like the original. And I was flabbergasted by that and like What does that mean? Why? What is the joke? I get
Lucas,
pulling out bus.
it's the most like 3 levels deep joke ever.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Think of the Greendale flag in the Community episode for Cars.
Yeah, yeah, that is the episode that just they just posted on YouTube. Fun fact, because the Community YouTube channel is just posting all of Community on it 1 week at a time. You should watch it. And the episode in which they drive the space simulator is an underrated top 10 in my
It's
opinion.
so good. I
It's
mean,
so good.
as far as bottle episodes go, amazing. And
Yes.
even weirder, it's not a bottle episode, but it could have been.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you're referring to E pluribus anus, which is what they put on the Greendale flag. Uh, Sea furry bus. Okay.
See furry bus anus.
I mean, I guess. I guess.
I man, it just means one furry bus that you see. Look at one furry bus.
Which is a great command. And again, like I said, I get pulling out bus, you know? And
But
like,
that's probably the only one that we get.
yeah, I don't know why there's not literally not a furry thing in these movies. They're all mechanical.
There
Furry
is
doesn't
a bear.
exist. Yes, okay. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe they saw the bear and went, "That's some sort of furry bus."
That's what they're doing. They want to say, okay, we messed up. We included an animal
Yeah.
because of the flag. So what we're going to do, we're going to include another thing with an animal on it, and we're going to replace that animal with a bunch of mechanical bits, and we're going to make people associate animals with vehicles. So furry bus. Yeah. That's what a bear is. It's just a furry bus. Don't worry about it.
It was it just flashes on screen for a second, so it's almost like a hypnotic image,
Mm-hmm.
subliminal message. That's what I was trying to get to, where they're saying, see furry bus. So next time you watch Cars 1 and see the Californian flag, that subliminal message will activate. And instead of a bear, you'll see a furry bus.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Best explanation we've done this episode.
That's gotta be it. Because they're just trying to get us off their trail.
Yeah, yeah. The hotel, the Rollin Inn, has a heated pool. Was the only other tiny detail I caught in the background. And
Well, before we move on to that, let's
no,
move
sorry,
back
move back, move
to
back.
costumes.
Costumes. Yes, you're absolutely right. We did say
They
we were gonna talk
replace
about it.
his hook
With a shovel of all
with a
things.
shovel.
How's he use that?
That's not how that works. It may have even been a spade. Uh, but, like, sure, he's the grave digger, maybe?
Yeah,
But you don't just replace a hook with a shovel head or a spade head and that be usable.
I mean there are famously vehicles with shovels on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I was curious about how they intended him to use his shovel as the gravedigger. I guess he could do what he did at the end of the Ivy episode, where he swings his hook in a circle, and he'll get a little bit of dirt with that. Not very much, but a
And, like, you
little.
could say, oh, well, he's God King. He does what he wants. Like, sure. But, like,
They don't know.
they don't know that. And why did he let them take the thing that I have assumed is his Mjolnir?
I mean, we all watched Moana.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Maui's hook,
Yep.
obviously.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But, like, you can't just wait. No, that makes sense. No, wait, it doesn't change. Only he changes.
Hmm?
I was about to say maybe he shapeshifts it into the spade, but no, the hook stays the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, doesn't isn't an early version of Thor? Didn't he like transform
He
Mjolnir
was
into
into a
like
cane.
a cane or an umbrella or something?
Yeah, he would like tap the cane or something, and then he would transform into Thor.
Yeah, because he wasn't Thor. He got the power of Thor originally.
Well, I
Uh,
think he was Thor, and then he was like turned into a human. And boy, howdy, they really like Marvel really loves a structure, and the structure of has a secret identity of a superhero. They really wanted to stick with that.
yeah, which it's almost backwards. It's almost an inverse of it in a fun way.
A
Uh,
Clark Kent Superman situation.
yeah, where Thor is his true identity, and I keep wanting to say Donald Blake. Is that anything?
I wanted to say Foster Blake, but yours sounds right. Because
Donald
mine,
Blake
I
is
was
the
saying
serpent.
Foster because of Jane Foster.
Oh no, man! How did I pull that? Yeah, Donald
Donald
Blake
Blake?
uh, is at the very least the name he writes down for in the MCU as his name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was his, like, maybe debut identity, secret identity.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm really proud of myself for that one. That's a deep pool.
As well, you should be.
But yeah, it could be something like that. That he transforms it like Mjolnir.
Now, to test your trivia knowledge
Oh,
yet
I'm not gonna
again,
get it.
uh, when he was transformed into a frog, what was his name?
Oh, Throg?
Yep.
Yeah, I know Throg. I'm sure his version of Mjolnir, which is just a chipped off piece of Mjolnir that a frog got, transforming him into Throg, uh, has a separate name, a frog based name, but I don't know that.
Probably just Frog Thor. Then there's
Frog.
freaking Beta Ray Bill, who's just Beta Ray Bill.
Every time I see a picture of Beta Ray Bill, I'm like, I'm gonna figure out what his deal is because that's a horseman who's dressed like Thor.
He was worthy to wield Mjolnir at one point.
But like,
That's like his story, is that he became Thor for a bit.
why is he a horseman? Is he an alien?
He's an alien, yeah.
Okay, so he's just an alien who dresses like Thor sometimes and wields Mjolnir sometimes.
I think it's a situation where he got the hammer, became Thor for a bit, and now he's just Beta Ray Bill Thor.
Okay, sure, why not? Uh, that's as much looking into it as I'm gonna do because I always say I'm gonna look into stuff like that and then never do it.
I did like a deep dive for a little bit on Beta Ray Bill, and it that's basically all I had was they fought for a bit. There was a debate over who was worthy of it, and then afterwards Thor gets the hammer back, but Beta Ray Bill's like, "Well, I'd still like to be a superhero," and then they, I think, give him maybe a Stormbreaker.
Mm. All right, works for me. I do want to talk about the heated pool at the Rollin Inn.
Yes. So as humans, we have fleshy bodies, and our fleshy bodies enjoy heat because it can help blood flow.
Sure.
Maybe car fluids.
Oh, that's the okay. Uh, if cargo and water bad for car, flood all important things. Yes,
Not all car. Some car, water car.
most car.
Most car.
Okay. I guess maybe they cater to boats who somehow make it inland. It's my explanation.
I mean, whenever you're filming, you gotta have like some scenes, like a sexy beach party. Gotta have some boats.
Yeah, sure, why not? Uh, and I actually do have one last thing, one
Lucas
last background
Baywatch.
detail. Baywatch,
Is Baywatch just boats?
I guess saving capsized boats, yeah, or cars stupid enough to go in the ocean.
That really changes the best little boathouse in Texas.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Man, they really just might sexualize boats.
Yeah, or it's just a very different movie, I guess. But if it's a very similar movie, that's bad. If boat is synonymous with whore in this world.
Yeah, it's like if there was just a group of people that, like, it was a trait intrinsic to them from their birth, that you just associated with being prostitutes.
Yeah. John, the Planet truck is in the background in the prop room.
He's got to be the most famous person in this world.
Well, the Planet truck is a character named Todd who
Hmm.
appears in some of the other movies. This is a prop tucked into a shelf
Yeah, it's a statue of this famous
of
person.
Todd, the who always seems to show up when important stuff is happening.
Hmm.
Sure,
You know
works
how,
for me.
like, you know how the Oscars, that's the Oscar statue
Mhm.
is just Hugh Jackman? Same thing.
Sure, yeah. I don't
You
know
knew
what
that, right?
I don't know what you're referencing.
Nothing. I'm just making a wild accusation.
Sure, okay. I always assume it's a reference with you, which I guess is not what I should assume.
It
Uh,
usually
it
is.
usually is, to my credit. Only other thing I really want to talk about, because I don't think there's much meat on the Pizza Planet truck bone, John. I'll be honest with you.
It's
Uh,
pepperoni.
mm, good one, John. I want to talk about Ivy. Just, it was like, did you ever watch the Lilo and Stitch cartoon show on the Disney Channel?
Hmm.
Where the whole point of it was they would find the aliens and then they would find them their one true place, their one
Hmm.
true home, one true calling. That's the vibe I got, as condescending as it is, with what they were doing with Ivy. They found her one true calling, her one true place at the circus. So when she was just like, "Oh, I left that place," it just felt so weird to me.
But she didn't. She brought it with her.
I mean, did she?
I think there's a line of, like, yeah, they came to the circus and then now we're all here.
I didn't catch that. I believe you, but I was under the
I could be
impression,
just hopeful.
yeah, I was under the impression she just left for greener pastures, you know?
Yeah.
Which, like, good for her. If make that money, sis, but like, it just felt a little weird when it seemed very much like Ivy was like, finally, I figured out what I should have been doing this whole time. My life has meaning now. And then she was like, oh, yeah, he saw me and said, you want to be in a movie? And I said, finally, I figured out what I should have been doing this whole time.
Yeah. And that, boy howdy, ain't that true to life. Like, that's how people are.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Anytime something comes along that's, like, bigger or better in some form or fashion, or even just perceived to be that, they're like, "Oh, I finally made it. This is where I'm supposed to be." And then something else happens and immediately it's, "Finally." No, you can't say finally every time anything happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Boy howdy.
You got anything else, or should we rank it and get out of here?
I very easily could say I have something else,
But
but,
you'd be making it up?
well, this movie doesn't well, this show movie thing, it doesn't deserve it. So, I'm happy to end it right here.
Hell yeah, bud. Let's see. Let's do how much we liked it, I guess, first. I'm trying to find reasons to give it points because it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Like, I kind of enjoy the idea of Mater as an actor as a concept, you know?
Mhm.
It's believable to me that Mater would be good at it. And I like the idea of Lightning being jealous of him, even though, as we've said, I am tired of Lightning learning to be friends with Mater over and over and over again.
Learning to be, I guess, tolerant.
Yeah, to because there are major vibes of like Lightning being like, Mater's good at something? That can't be right.
I
Which,
feel like the vibe is, wait, he's good at something that I'm not good at?
yeah, yeah. Like, he doesn't care that Mater's good at backwards driving because he doesn't respect that. But
It's
he,
not a thing of value in the eyes of society.
yeah, exactly. That's the kind of vibe I get. But he wants to be good at acting, so it upsets him that Mater isn't.
But
That
wait,
Mater
this is a
is.
famous person thing.
No, 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 no. Uh, yeah, that's. And again, yeah, I like the idea. I don't think it's done well. It's kind of a boring episode. Some of the jokes land for me okay. Like, I like the weird writer character who keeps having mean things done to him. But yeah, I'm giving it like a 3.
Yeah, I'll give it a 5. It's very
Okay,
pleasant to look at.
sure. Why not? Uh, Lore wise, I mean, the stuff we were saying about Squishy Bit isn't nothing.
Hmm.
Like, solid confirmation of Squishy Bit is good. It's big, but it's not Grim Reaper big.
Yeah, like man, jumping the shark, killing the mater, same thing to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what I gave the last 2 episodes. I'll give this one like a 4
Yeah,
for lore.
I'll give it a 5 again because
Yeah,
like Squishy Bit is a big deal, but like it's just Squishy Bit, and hey, Hollywood doesn't know how to manage money, and rich people are pompous and don't understand that uh, not rich people oftentimes have equal or
value.
greater value.
Which, yeah, man. Uh, yeah, that's it. Episode. Thank you so much for listening to it. We always do appreciate it, but you know what? I'm just thanking you for this one. This is the only thanks I'm giving this time, and that's why I do it every episode. It's not thank you for listening in general, even though I will right now thank you for that. The thank you I give is just for the episode, so that's why I have to renew it each time. I don't know why I gave myself that weird lore, uh, but if you want to give me weird lore about cars, you can do that by sending us an email at our email account, which is thekachat@gmail.com, or by tweeting at us or DMing us on Twitter. Our account is at thekachat. There's no hyphen in either of those. Now it's John's turn to talk in the outro.
Remember to like, comment, subscribe, tell anyone and everyone you think might be the least bit interested in this kooky, quirky, strange little podcast. And until next time, remember to float like a Cadillac.
And sting like a beamer.